Distinguished members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, allow me to say a few words about the Beirut blast in terms of its implications. We don't know who the perpetrators are. We still do not know how this blast took place. With the Lebanese President Michel Aoun, we have been in talks since the explosions, and our National Intelligence Agency is also in touch with their counterparts in Lebanon. We don't know who it was. We haven't received any information as to how this explosion came into effect. And that is why we cannot point the finger of blame to any person or any organization. It would be especially unbecoming for us politicians to blame certain quarters, but we are keeping a close eye on the recent developments, because Lebanon is a brotherly country for Turkey, and we will be cooperating with our counterparts in Lebanon closely. Of course, this is a catastrophe of a great magnitude. A similar catastrophe was experienced during the time of the late Refik Hariri, and this is even a greater catastrophe of an even greater magnitude that sadly took place in Lebanon. We know that this is due to ammonium nitrate, and some people are saying that some of the stair houses were hosting missiles. So we don't have clear information as to how this blast unfolded 2 days ago. But like I said, we are also keeping a close eye on what is going on in Lebanon, and with the Deputy President Fuat Bey and also the Turkish Foreign Minister have paid a visit to Lebanon to follow the recent developments. And also the Hagia Yusuf cargo aircraft, the military aircraft, has been deployed to bring aid to Lebanon, and this aid includes many aids of military kind, and also regarding healthcare and humanitarian relief, and regarding the setting up of a field hospital. We have sent aid to Lebanon, and I have spoken to President Michel Aoun, and I have said to him that our hospitals are their hospitals, and that they can send the wounded to Turkey, that Turkey would always stand by Lebanon and send ambulance aircraft to bring the wounded to Turkey for further treatment. And our Minister of Health is also in touch with his counterpart. We will never leave Lebanon alone, but the magnitude of the catastrophe is actually really big, because Lebanon thrives on the port in Beirut. It is a port that is significantly important for the entire region. The fact that this port has been damaged so much is going to create a huge problem, not just in Lebanon, but in the entire region as well. And of course, for the time being, we're not talking about rebuilding of the city, of the port. We don't know how many years it will take, but be it financially, be it spiritually, we will always be by the side of Lebanon and the people of Lebanon. We will always exhibit solidarity with the Lebanese people. Now, dear friends, regarding this so-called maritime deal between Greece and Egypt, we believe that this is null and void. And let me explain to you why we feel this way. First of all, when we look at these demarcated areas, we see that Greece, especially regarding Libya, Greece has no relations whatsoever to this area. Egypt, likewise, they have nothing to do with this demarcated area. Now, we signed this deal with Libya, and following that deal, these countries jumped on the bandwagon, and we continue to receive information from the ground. They're saying that they have not done this against us. This should not be misunderstood. This is what is actually relayed to us through certain interlocutors. Whether it is a step against Turkey or not, we will continue to decisively maintain the agreement that we have signed with Libya. And as you know, our Minister of Foreign Affairs with his Maltese counterpart and Libyan counterpart got together first in Malta and then in Libya to have in-depth discussions about the region and the recent developments, and these talks will continue in a decisive manner. And regarding maritime jurisdiction, we are not going to even sit down to talk about these areas with people who have no right in these areas. Chancellor Merkel personally asked me to actually discontinue the drilling activities in the region for us to facilitate what she's about to do. And this is what I told her. I said to her, if you trust Greece, if you trust the other parties, then for 3 weeks or 4 weeks we would be ready to pause these drilling activities. But I do not trust these parties, and you will see that these people are not going to fulfill their promises, I said, and unfortunately that has come to pass. And by the way, regarding Greece, regarding their Minister of Foreign Affairs and advisors of the President and my advisors, we have actually started tripartite meetings between Greece, Turkey and Germany. And because they have not fulfilled their promises, what's going to happen now? We are going to restart drilling activities. We have actually restarted drilling activities in the region, and Barbaros Hayrettin will be deployed, has been deployed actually. They're not fulfilling their promises, and I have said the same thing to Chancellor Merkel. They have not delivered on their promises, so we will stick to our own path. That's what I told her. There was an economy summit in Istanbul yesterday, and there are certain negative comments, and FX rates are going up. What would you like to say about the economy? Will there be new steps in this realm? Now, dear friends, all across the world right now, if you look at economic indicators, if you look at the recent developments in economy, you will see that in the States, in Russia, and in Europe, in all of these jurisdictions, there is a lot of upheaval because of COVID-19. After COVID-19 hit, we have experienced steep ups and downs. And let me honestly say, and by the way, I do not even wish to talk about our internal enemies, because our external enemies are keeping us busy enough, but our internal enemies are also doing their best to assist our external enemies. Let me say this quite openly. I was elected in November 2018, and at the time, dear friends, you in print media and visual media, please convey these messages. In 2002, our national income was 236 billion US dollars. In 2019, the total national income was 754 billion US dollars, and per capita income at the time was around $3,500, and this in 2019 shot up to more than 9,000 US dollars. Apart from these, in terms of car sales, in 2002, domestic sales stood at 91,000. In 2019, this number totaled 387,000. In 2016, this was '09, we reached 750,000, and there has been an upsurge ever since. When you look at refrigerator sales, we were talking about 1 million in '08, in '19. This, as of '17, the numbers stood at 3 million. In '19, 2.5 million refrigerators were sold in Turkey. When we look at washing machine sales, 800,000 in 2002. In 2019, the number totaled 2,020,000 units. Dishwashers, 283,000. In 2019, 1.3 million units. Of course, there are further details, and I'm not going to go into those further details, but this goes to show that Turkey has been achieving this progress, this upsurge. But certain people who have eyes but who refuse to see that Turkey is on the rise. And I'm presenting all these documents to you. Based on these documents, based on these figures, we can even also look at the number of companies incorporated. Right now, as of 2017, 85,000 companies were incorporated in Turkey. So there has been a huge rise in the companies incorporated in Turkey over the course of last 10 years. And also in terms of employment, currently 28 million people are in employment. There has been a significant increase in this as well. Of course, and also in export, when we came into power, it was 36 billion US dollars. Now we're talking about 180 billion US dollars in Turkish exports. So Turkey has actually achieved this giant leap. But like I said, some people refuse to acknowledge this progress and this achievement, and no matter how misconstrue, how they misconstrue these developments, we as Turkey, as a nation, will continue to be committed to this development and this giant leap forward, and we will do our utmost best to maintain this trend as much as possible. And right now, in terms of Turkish lira and FX, in terms of gold reserves, let me tell you something really simple, and you have all experienced these over the course of the years. When we first came into power, dear friends, remember, Turkey's outstanding debt to the IMF stood at 23.5 billion US dollars. May 2013, we paid off our debt to the IMF entirely, and right now we do not have any debt, remaining debt to the IMF. When you look at the foreign exchange reserves, 23 billion was what we had in our coffers when we came into power, and now that amount has surpassed 100 billion US dollars. So Turkey is strong. Turkey is standing up tall. No one should try to mislead the Turkish nation. We continue on our path, getting stronger day by day. We are stronger today than yesterday, and tomorrow we will be stronger than today. Let me tell you this quite genuinely, and also I'd like to ask you to pay attention to what I have to say. 7 years ago in Turkey, in counterterrorism, in terms of counterterrorism, let us remember what we used to go through. And in our fight against terrorism, 18 or 17 years ago, let us remember where we were, and let us remember today where we are in terms of our fight against terrorism. Now, anti-terrorism measures come at a cost, obviously, right? This requires huge investments, huge expenditures in the defense industry. In order to bolster our fight against terrorism, have we spent a lot of money? Yes, we have. In our defense industry, let us imagine, we increased incentives from 20% to 70% in local and national production, and all of these, of course, come at a cost. And with this cost, actually, comes something else. Turkey has become a power, not just a regional power, but a power on a global scale. We have our drones, manned and unmanned drones, both in Turkey and in north of Syria and north of Iraq. And during the Peace Spring operation, we were engaged in a lot of efforts. We did not go to Libya just for the sake of going to Libya. Our Libyan brothers and sisters wanted Turkey to support them with this agreement that we have signed. We actually acted upon their invitation, and we have deployed our troops in Libya, and similarly we are siding with our brothers and sisters in Libya, and this struggle is ongoing in Libya as well, and in a virtuous manner we will continue this struggle, and no one should have any concerns about this. And you know, people say things about the economy, and regarding our Minister of Economy and Finance, there have been defamation campaigns on social media, but this is a case of sour grapes. They should take a look at what Turkey has accomplished compared to its past, and what the West is doing right now, what the world is doing right now. In terms of coronavirus, for instance, we have sent aid to 150 countries. We are still sending masks, PPE, medications to 150 countries as Turkey. And of course, this all comes at a cost. And sadly, some people do not appreciate this. These people must be blind. I mean, Turkey is doing all of these things. At a difficult time like this, we built the Pine Sakura Hospital, this field hospital, in 45 days. We were able to complete that project. And also the Murat Dilmener Hospital was completed. Pakize Öz Hospital was completed as well in Turkey. And all of this is done through financial means, and all of these projects are testament to Turkey's financial strength. If we hadn't been this strong, we would not have been able to complete these projects. We thrive on our nation for our power, and we believe that all these projects become this nation. We will continue on this path, and we will never let our nation be in need. Now, dear friends, first of all, allow me to say that none of this is unprecedented. Certain people have left our party as well. They established their own parties, and we don't know what will happen to those parties. But right now, regarding Muharrem İnce, it is his prerequisite to start his own political party. He's an experienced politician, and as a senior politician, it is his birthright to initiate a new political party. Regarding Mr. Bahçeli's invitation to Ms. Akşener, again, that is something that can be on the cards. It sounds reasonable. It's a reasonable invitation, and I do hope that in a spirit of unison and harmony, inshallah, these steps will be taken, because when we are scattered, we cannot accomplish much. The more together we are, especially at a time like this, when certain people are liaising with HDP and terrorist organizations, I think it mars our national stance. We see E-Party as a nationalistic party, and it wouldn't be befitting for them. And it is because of this problem, this intrinsic problem, that this invitation was extended to Ms. Akşener, I believe. And all across the country, we need to get together. We need to join our forces. I think that would be a step in the right direction. Of course, this is nothing new either. We knew that this catastrophe was unfolding, and I've said this to President Trump as well. these terrorist organizations, when they're allocated resources, then things could easily go awry in our region. I've relayed this message to President Trump as well. This is a terrorist organization, and we need to look into where their financial resources come from, and if these oil reserves are used in their resort to sort of underpin these terrorist organizations, and they're selling this to the regime, funnily enough. This is the state of affairs, and President Trump said to me that he would look into it, but so far we haven't seen any developments, any positive developments as far as we're concerned, but we will continue to monitor the progress, and I personally believe that sooner or later things will fall into place. Well, like I said, things will fall into place. I believe that to be the case. Let us not be troubled by these recent developments, because the Turkish economy is well established. Our system is well established. That's why, you know, at certain times, of course, there will be ups and downs, and in a matter of months, or maybe, you know, some people were talking about 10 lira by the end of the year, but now here we are. But things will fall into place. It's all about, I think what we need to do is we need to focus on COVID-19 and do whatever we can to contain that pandemic. And also the developments in Beirut deserve our attention. And once these hurdles are overcome, I think the Turkish lira will find its place, and FX will also, and gold prices will fall into place. These are transient fluctuations, and these fluctuations always take place. But yesterday, the central bank got together with the Union of Turkish Banks, and they talked about the steps that we need to take, and things will get better. Thank you very much. Now, dear friends, all of the restrictions initiated are based on decisions made by our scientific board, and I'd like to call out to the entire nation once again. Let us make sure that we remain vigilant in terms of wearing masks, keeping our social distance, and also in terms of hygiene and cleanliness. Let's do this for our own sakes, first and foremost. Let us be extra vigilant about this so that we do not experience even bigger problems. We had 14 deaths yesterday, as of yesterday, but it's all about the number of cases. We need to bring down the number of cases, and that's something that we need to accomplish. We're working to make sure that we do that, but you need to help us out as well, so that sooner than later we can reduce the number of cases, and also further reduce the number of deaths. And we can only do this together. Thank you very much indeed. Now, honorable members of the public,